Yes, sister, friend, I will share a longer version. I'm going to add it to this one. But the purpose of this video, I couldn't even sleep last night because I was trying to put A, B, C together. So this picture, the video, excuse me, on June the 23rd helps in a lot of ways because Warren stated in all of the videos in his interviews that they were a tight-knit group of people. And he also said that there were around 20 to 30 people scattered in those 3 or 4 different boats that they had taken, correct? Okay, so
we seen this one?
the trip on June the 23rd, per Warren, are a tight-knit group of people, would be the same people that we saw inside this picture.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What do we owe? That's Nolan right there, y'all.
This white woman right here is claiming that she was one of the last people who saw Nolan, and when she saw Nolan, he was involved in an altercation with somebody who, in her words, is going to go to jail based on what she witnessed. Now, somehow, some way, and a lot of you guys probably already suspect this, somehow, some way, Officer Tatum is involved somewhere in this equation, in which you will find out at some point in this video.
Service Sam here with a Nolan Xavier Wells update and some more mysterious letters that I'm reading to you. Again, I don't know if these are real, but I think it's important to share them. After others were forced to leave, the last few were trying to help, but they made them leave. Nolan had already taken his last gasps and was gargling blood. His last words were, "No, please, guys, I love you." Key notes: when Nolan yelled, that's when Evan's mom came down. Nolan's body was still warm when they started moving it to be stored. Nolan survived most of the attack. Ultimately, murder was intentional. He yelled, but barely. He saw his moments and memories flash, but his last memory was with his parents after winning a game, and he was happy and he was ready for the next season. Maybe memories was from his last game of his first year of college. Again, I don't know how this letter could possibly know what his last memory was, so again, we have to take it with a grain of salt. Nolan wanted nothing more than to have peace, even when it wasn't always reciprocated in certain instances. Wyatt was a primary aggressor, encouraging booze and drugs and hyping the others up to single out Nolan. Nolan had some sort of fun, but they left earlier than planned due to the boat having some sort of jerk or throttle issue happening while on the island. The boys planned to leave Nolan. He left the girl. He did spend a little time with her there. Wyatt and Warren were jealous, taunting that they would leave him, and made him swim not too far to the boat. They wanted him to swim through the current, dared him to, and Nolan waited for something current to pass and then swam to the boat approximately at 3:45 p.m. Around 4:30, they had already started to head back, took a few convincing photos that Nolan was failure to it, but did anyway.
YouTube, welcome back, gang, to all my regulars and my new viewers to another episode of T Wizard Reactions. As we make our way to 300 subscribers, gang, gotta thank you all for tapping into the channel. YouTube on some bullshit right now, so I definitely appreciate everybody taking the extra steps to support. If you want to catch me live, you can go to TikTok at 9 a.m. or you can go to Kick at 5 p.m. every day except for Saturdays. And if you got any clips, you could drop it in a DM or you could put it in the YouTube community. Today, man, we got an update on the Nolan Wells case as new detail emerged. Some new info that came to light as I don't know who received it first or who it was sent to, but some influencers, I'm assuming, received letters from an anonymous person explaining new details about the Nolan Wells case. I'm just going to tell you a little bit before we get straight into the video, because I didn't even see the whole thing. I just seen like a minute or two of it. But basically, without naming exactly everybody, but Warren and Wyatt, they give a bit more insight of what's happening on the island. before, during the death of Nolan Wells, and a couple of details of what was going on after. And some parts of it, not gonna lie, the first letter, some parts of it make sense, and some of it don't. Like, I don't understand how they was like able to know what Nolan Wells' memory was. I don't believe that, but certain other parts of the second letter definitely make sense. The fact that he was swimming, which could explain how, he was in a fight, or why he was defeated in a fight. They also let us know that Evan's mother was there, which we already had suspected from one of the previous videos, that an adult was there. And they basically give a little bit of motive too, because they say they was jealous because Nolan Wells did spend time with a female. Now, none of these details has been confirmed, but like I said, you just got to do your own connecting the dots. The title of today's video was called The Nolan Wells Update. Mysterious messages emerge on how he was killed. New evidence. And if you guys like the video, don't be too shy to hit that like and subscribe button. Get notified when I drop a new video or when I'm updating y'all on the old one. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell because YouTube been tripping. Now let's get straight into it.
Tonight, the Nolan Wells investigation into the death of a shining star, Nolan Wells, has an altercation witness emerged. A witness that claims she saw an altercation at Horn Island.
This white woman right here is claiming that she was one of the last people who saw Nolan, and when she saw Nolan, he was involved in an altercation with somebody who, in her words, is going to go to jail based on what she witnessed. Now, somehow, some way, and a lot of you guys probably already suspect this, somehow, some way, Officer Tatum is involved somewhere in this equation, in which you will find out at some point in this video.
Service Sam here with a Nolan Xavier Wells update and some more mysterious letters that I'm reading to you. Again, I don't know if these are real, but I think it's important to share them. After others were forced to leave, the last few were trying to help, but they made them leave. Nolan had already taken his last gasps and was gargling blood. His last words were, "No, please, guys, I love you." Key notes: when Nolan yelled, that's when Evan's mom came down. Nolan's body was still warm when they started moving it to be stored. Nolan survived most of the attack. Ultimately, murder was intentional. He yelled, but barely. He saw his moments and memories flash, but his last memory was with his parents after winning a game, and he was happy and he was ready for the next season. Maybe memory was from his last game of his first year of college. Again, I don't know how this letter could possibly know what his last memory was, so again, we have to take it with a grain of salt. Nolan wanted nothing more than to have peace, even when it wasn't always reciprocated in certain instances. Wyatt was a primary aggressor, encouraging booze and drugs and hyping the others up to single out Nolan. Nolan had some sort of fun, but they left earlier than planned due to the boat having some sort of jerk or throttle issue happening while on the island. The boys planned to leave Nolan. He left the girl. He did spend a little time with her there. Wyatt and Warren were jealous, taunting that they would leave him, and made him swim not too far to the boat. They wanted him to swim through the current, dared him to, and Nolan waited for something current to pass and then swam to the boat approximately at 3:45 p.m. Around 4:30, they had already started to head back, took a few convincing photos that Nolan was failure to it, but did anyways. Again, this is very hard to read. I can't confirm any of this, guys. This is all strong on the ledge of allegedly, but again, these letters are out there, so I thought it was important to read it. Again, some of this writing looks like it could be a female because they've hearted a few things. I just want to put this out there. I have forwarded all these letters to Ben Crump and his attorneys just in case there is anything real to this. But again, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. This is just, in my opinion, something that is interesting to share. Secret Service Sam out, Samson for president of the world.
There are still so many questions surrounding the case of Nolan Wells, and right at the center of all of them sits this mysterious message. Who sent it? Does it connect in any way to how Nolan Wells died? And why are the people who were closest to this situation still not coming forward publicly? Our viewers have been weighing in, and the responses are striking. Some of you are saying the same thing repeatedly, that something about this case simply does not sit right. Why would Nolan voluntarily stay behind without his phone, without his keys? Those aren't the decisions of someone who planned to be left alone out there. And the people who left with those items, his friends, the ones who were with him that day, a growing number of you believe they know significantly more than what they have been willing to say out loud. But not everyone is arriving at the same conclusion. Some viewers are holding to the possibility that this was simply a tragic accident, that grief and rumor and social media have collectively turned something devastating but straightforward into something it may not be. And then there's a third group, the ones who aren't focused on motive or accident at all, the ones who keep coming back to the timeline itself, the deleted messages, the specific window of Nolan's final hours, and what that window either confirms or refuses to explain. 3 very different reads on the same set of facts. And with theories continuing to spread across every platform, the one question underneath all of it remains unanswered. What do you believe actually happened to Nolan Wells? Because there is more coming in. Let's go through the next round of messages from witnesses who have chosen to remain unnamed and hear what they're saying.
This white woman right here is claiming that she was one of the last people who saw Nolan. And when she saw Nolan, he was involved in an altercation with somebody who, in her words, is going to go to jail based on what she witnessed. Now, somehow, some way, and a lot of you guys probably already suspect this, somehow, some way, Officer Tatum is involved somewhere in this equation, in which you will find out at some point in this video. But here is what she has to say. Now, her page is on private, so we only have people reading what she said on her page. So this is what she had to say in terms of, the last sighting of Nolan. Now, apparently, she didn't just see Nolan by herself. It was her and her husband who witnessed this.
I have not spoken publicly about this before, but I witnessed an altercation involving Nolan Wells from a boat nearby. What I saw has stayed with me, and I believe it's important information. I have provided or intend to provide my account to the appropriate investigators because Nolan's family deserves the truth. Out of respect for the ongoing investigation, I won't speculate beyond what I personally observed. While I was on the boat near the area, I witnessed an altercation involving Nolan Wells and several other individuals. I saw what appeared to be an argument that escalated after there was a dispute involving Nolan's phone. I heard Nolan yelling for his phone to be returned. The argument continued after the group reached shore, and I observed a physical fight involving Nolan and multiple people. I also observed a young woman telling them to stop. At that point, I left the area because the situation had appeared to be getting worse. I did not remain long enough to witness what happened afterward. Everything beyond what I personally observed would be speculation, so I cannot honestly say what occurred after I left.
I think that's the lady that they trying to silence, that they threatening, telling her to be quiet before they do something to her.
Then she said she messaged one of the individuals that she saw, hey, I just want to say I was a passenger on another boat and I saw the argument between you guys and we'll go to the police with this information. I also have video footage. My husband doesn't show much, but it shows the argument that was taken and how you guys were upset at Nolan because of the young lady.
I don't know if they ever turned over the videos that they have to the police. I don't know if they ever gave a statement to the police, but that post is being read directly from their TikTok by Secret Service Sam. And the reason why we don't know if they've ever turned over information, if they ever spoke to the police, if the police have ever followed up on this, because the DA and the prosecutors don't speak to you unless you are an attorney for one of the boys. Okay? Right? Even the family can't get information from out these people, but somehow Bart attorney had all the information in regards to Nolan Wells' autopsy before the parents had it and Chris Cuomo had it. Like ain't that odd?
Right, that's what I was
These
just ready to
information
say,
is supposed
though.
to be secret.
I was just ready to say the same shit. Like, well, they probably wouldn't even charge nobody anyway because Mississippi is corrupt. Ocean Springs, Mississippi, corrupt as the bitch. So even if they did send the videos to the authorities, they probably wouldn't even arrest nobody, because as we already suspect and starting to confirm that they all behind the scenes are cool, and some of them are even family. And it shows because of the shady shit they was doing with the information in the autopsy. Just like Flacco just stated, how the fuck did Bart have the information and certain things about the autopsy before the parents did?
Still, but somehow these folks have all the information before anybody else do, but they quote unquote ain't speaking, right? Cool. So we don't know. But what I can say is be very careful, okay, about somebody's initial reaction to this. If somebody's initial reaction to this is what you're about to hear, they're very sus, right? They are very, very sketchy, okay? Now, after you hear this, there's another factor that gets really deeper. Officer Tatum and his reaction to this tells me everything I need to know about this. Tatum's reaction to this should tell us everything we need to know about this, but we'll get there towards the end of this video.
Formerly in the public defender's office, they try a ton of cases. Philip, first of all, has she turned it into police? She said she was. If she hasn't, I give her no credibility at all. Look, I want this to be true. Why? Because I want the video. I want to see the timestamp on the video. I want to see, was he still on Horn Island at 4:30 when his acquaintances on the Triton boat left? I want that video. And if she hasn't brought this forward to LE, law enforcement, then it means nothing to me. I mean, if I know a young man turns up dead in the water, and I know there's a controversy surrounding this, I mean, we know she knows that because she's gone online and posted it, then why not hand it over to police?
Agreed. And it should go to the grand jury for part of their investigation. But I got to tell you, if I were cross-examining her, should this even go to trial, the first question I'd ask her on that 4th of July, what she had been drinking. Before that video got activated, everybody would want to
Put him up.
Drinking and smoking. You know how many people were partying?
Okay, man. Have you lost your mind?
When I tell y'all we're in this fight by ourselves, we're in this fight by ourselves, bruh.
Yes,
None of these people want to see justice. None of them. Yo, when it comes to this situation, in this case specifically this case, these people act like they don't have common sense. These people all of a sudden lose all rationality. They lose all common sense. This man, right, who is an actual attorney, is hearing a woman say, yo, I see Nolan Wells have an altercation with somebody shortly before his disappearance, and he says, well, was she drunk? Was she drinking? Excuse me? How? What? Now, yo, shout out to Nancy Grace, because Nancy Grace she shut this conversation down shortly after this. Like, she shut this conversation down. She said, I'm good, bro. Like, you straight. Like, you could go. And she redirected her focus to Tatum. Now, what Tatum had to say about this was the most interesting. What Tatum had to say about this left me floored, left my mouth, my jaw, everything on the floor. I couldn't believe what I was hearing Tatum say.
Brandon Tatum is joining us. So after all that, all you have to say is, was she drinking? That's your takeaway from that? Joining me is Brandon Tatum, former police officer, Tucson, now star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube, who famously has interviewed the acquaintances who all say they had nothing to do with it. Let's just put that out there. He's interviewed them extensively. I want to talk about not what you want to talk about, Brandon Tatum, which is they had nothing to do with this, because I met them and I believe them. So noted. Can we talk about a potential witness to an altercation? And she seems to suggest it was over Katie. Why? Don't know what the altercation was. Maybe it was, hey, leave her alone and get on the boat, or leave her alone, she's my girlfriend, or it could be anything. But if there is a witness placing Nolan seemingly in the water, I can't tell that, but having an argument with another person, a partier at Horn Island, that is significant. It could prove or disprove your friend's timeline.
Well, Nancy, I think that it's a big obstacle to climb here because I've never heard of this altercation whatsoever. No.
Tatum, what? Tatum, hell ain't hot enough for you, bro. Hell ain't hot enough for you, bro. You've never heard about this altercation before, Tatum? You mean wait, hold on, Tatum. I didn't hear that right. Play that. Nah. He didn't say that.
Your friend's timeline.
Well, Nancy, I think that it's a big obstacle to climb here because I've never heard of this altercation whatsoever. Nobody that I've talked to have alluded that this altercation was real.
These people lie so much they can't even keep up with their own lies anymore. They tell so many lies they can't keep up anymore. But I fear this lie that Tatum is currently telling is the most nefarious lie of them all. I fear there's some truth to what we just heard. And Tatum is trying to cover up for it. And here's why. You see, Tatum told Nancy Grace after he heard the story that he never heard about this altercation. Nobody he had any contact with has ever mentioned this altercation before. But this was Tatum approximately 3 weeks ago on his channel talking about this very same altercation. Isn't this you, Tatum?
I received a DM from someone DMing another person. Now, I'm trying to leave these names out because I want to not mess this investigation up. I think law enforcement already have this. That alluded to the fact that, and I messaged this person because I want to talk directly to the person that I saw the DM from. And we haven't talked to this person yet. But the person said in the DM to another kid that is associated, not any of the kids that I interviewed or talked to, but that could be associated to some degree, that knew Nolan, that this person wrote a message saying, me and my husband saw you arguing with Nolan, and to the effect of you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Now, the person did not say they saw a physical altercation. The person did not say what time they saw Nolan and this other person getting into an argument. Now, this is after Warren, their boat left. This may be somewhere around a little bit before 6. What I'm thinking at this point, with all that has been said, is that somebody knows exactly what happened to Nolan, or they saw him right before he died. I am not convinced that Nolan was just out there and drowned.
Tatum was so convinced by that DM that Nolan had an altercation back and forth with somebody.
Right, that reshaped like everything he's spewing now, bro. Like, you literally basically said you suspected foul play. You knew about the person DMing and informing the person about they saw the altercation. So now you just get on here and say you never heard of it. Damn.
That he even went out on a limb to say he believed that somebody knows what happened to Nolan, somebody watched Nolan die, and he don't believe that Nolan drowned. Now, all of a sudden, after Tatum became buddies with the boys' lawyers, after the boy lawyers started to promote Tatum's bourbon and his liquor in all of their interviews, after they essentially got a partnership with Tatum, now all of a sudden, Tatum don't remember ever hearing about this altercation, but that ain't the only lie Tatum got caught in. No. In the last 24 hours, it got exposed. Damn near all of Officer Tatum, quote unquote, sources were all lies. He either made it up himself or he's lying about everything he once knew because he realized those things now implicate his friends and his homies. Allegedly, I don't know, okay? So that man just explained the exact altercation that person is describing. Nancy Grace asked him about the same altercation he already talked about 3 weeks ago. Now, all of a sudden, he has no idea what's going on. He never heard of it. This man needs to be investigated, bro. Tatum needs to be investigated. They need to bring Tatum to the altar, bro. Because you can't keep getting away with this.
And also Katie, whom I saw her text messages, she didn't even say this altercation occurred. What I will say is that if I was an investigator in this investigation, I want to hear that. I want to be able to compare that information to other things that we may have or other witness statements. But I don't think it's significant because it doesn't show if Nolan Wells was actually killed in that altercation. She's claiming that there was an altercation between him arguing with somebody else. There was a potential fight, but that doesn't get me to how did he drown? How did he get in the water? And how did he not recover and come home to his family? So I would take that into consideration. I would compare that to the other interviews that I've done, but I don't think it's significant whatsoever. However, I would be incredibly skeptical because there's no other statements that I've heard from anybody that comes even close to an altercation with Nolan Wells and others over a girl.
Number one, he's dead shortly after an alleged altercation with another male. We think over a woman. See, in my world, I put together both circumstantial and direct evidence. Direct evidence would be, for instance, DNA or a fingerprint. Circumstantial evidence is the timing of the alleged altercation and his death. Right?
Nancy,
so
but Nancy,
it's hard for me to believe that there's some kind of altercation on Horn Island just before he dies. And they were not
Nancy,
connected. That's hard for me to believe that.
Well, Nancy, she's not saying he lost the fight. She's not saying that he got beat up. If you look at the autopsy, there's no clear signs of blunt force trauma to his face or any of the vital areas that could kill him. So it doesn't appear that there's any indication that he lost a fight, that there was enough trauma in this particular.
You see how Tatum has went from, do you see how Tatum has went from, hey, I was told this, and I'll be real, man. Hey, bro, like, they're credible. And you know, listen, man, I now believe, I don't think he just drowned. I think somebody watched him die. Then shouldn't you still have that exact same thing? It's only been 3 weeks. Shouldn't you still think the exact same thing? Shouldn't you still believe what you said 3 weeks ago, which is, again, Tatum's exact word was, even if they didn't get into a physical altercation, I still believe somebody seen what happened, somebody watched Nolan die, somebody knows what happens. Then wouldn't this person be crucial and pivotal in figuring that out? Why is Tatum all of a sudden going against and attacking the very same information and evidence that he broke? Tatum was the first one to release this information 3 weeks ago. But now he's going against it. Now he's fighting against it. Now he's doing everything in his power to try to underplay it. Why? That's interesting. The only thing I could point to is, man, them boys got Verdict Bourbon in a background. When they do interviews now, they promoting your bourbon for you. So now all of a sudden, you don't want to concede an inch that could, make people look bad. That's odd, Tatum. That's very odd. Very odd here. See, this is not the only lie Tatum got caught up in. Y'all remember when Tatum came on his channel and he claimed that a source that was very credible, a source that's been 150% accurate, they told him that Nolan Wells was on coke on the island. Y'all remember? I'm sure you guys do. Y'all remember that? Well, guess what? This was also a lie.
But what I was told, and you guys, please take in consideration that it's reliable sources. However, the only way to prove the truth in this is if I see it with my own eyes, if the law enforcement have the investigation of this, and also when the toxicology results come out. But people are messaging me and telling me that
in a world where summer hunger strikes, Chicken Palooza answers the call. Get any two-piece meal, Rofo Chicken.
There is heavy drinking and there's cocaine involved. And there's a particular person whom I know this person's name. I'm not going to disclose it. I'm going to go to the police first, and then I will disclose it if it doesn't interfere in the investigation. But this person allegedly was offering people cocaine, and someone close to Nolan, one of his friends, told me that this person was offered cocaine and rejected it from this person. And I was also told, and this person told me that it's over 100% chance that Nolan was using cocaine during this period of time.
Oh yeah, hell ain't hot enough.
This person said it was 150% sure that when the toxicology comes back, that Nolan will have cocaine in his system. Now,
150% if the toxicology come back, Nolan will have coke in his system. Now, here's the thing. Tatum said he was going to go to the police. We haven't heard any update on Tatum telling the police this information. So Tatum potentially knew of a potential drug dealer who could have given Nolan drugs that could have contributed to his death, and Tatum never went to the police, never told him anything. All right. And again, according to him, his source is the most reliable. Bro, he was damn near saying this is true. Like, yo, but once you reiterate, oh, this source have never told me bad information. This source have been accurate 1,000%. They've told me 150% Nolan gonna have coke in his system. Well, according to Nancy Grace and other experts, the toxicology is apparently back. And you know what's not in his system? Apparently coke is not in Nolan Wells' system. Right? So Tatum's quote unquote expert was lying. Tatum was lying. So now I can distinguish between what has Tatum ever said about this case that's the truth.
Right.
I know they're saying they're done with the autopsy and that it's complete, which means the gross findings in the autopsy room, the tox, the histology, that means that that autopsy report is complete. They just hadn't released their findings yet.
And speaking of that, Joe Scott Morgan, I've heard the same, that the autopsy is complete.
Yeah.
There are reports that there is no cocaine in Nolan's system. That's uncorroborated reports,
Okay.
but a good source. No cocaine in the system.
Yep.
Joe Scott, when the body has been in the elements, such as the water, for that long, how can I confirm if he had been drinking or not?
Oh, you can still pull a BA, blood alcohol, or blood ethanol level, as it's referred to. And again, Nancy, we're not talking about someone that has been down for weeks and weeks.
Tatum is now pretending like he never heard about the altercation and he never heard of her, anything about it. And then we found out that Tatum's source that apparently gave him information that was 150% correct was actually wrong. All right. And Nolan was not on coke. Y'all let me know in the comment section, man, what y'all think about it.
Well, that's true. Hell ain't hot enough for damn Officer Tatum, bro. He's definitely going. I agree with Flacco, though. I think that's the only reason why he lying for them now. He don't want to make them look bad because he in bed with him. He business partners with them now. That's what they offer him to sell out. It's quite sad, actually. But let me know down in the comment section, man, if you guys believe that those letters was like accurate and authentic, or if you think one was and one wasn't, you know, or both of them wasn't. Let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know which one of the suspects, well, just his fake friends right now, that you think actually unalive Nolan Wells. As always, if you made it this far in the video and you like the content, don't be too shy to hit that like and subscribe button. Get notified when I drop a new video, when I'm updating y'all on the old one. We on our way to 300 subscribers. Thank you all for tapping into the channel. I really appreciate it. You want to catch me live, go to TikTok at 8 a.m. or you can go to Kick at 5 p.m. every day except for Saturdays. Got any clips you want to send me? Go ahead, drop it in the community right here on YouTube or put it in the DMs any one of my socials. I got to hurry up and get out of here, finish editing this video so I can get on live, man. But I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. We're going to be back to the regular scheduled program by tomorrow. But I'm going to see you guys later, man. Thank you for watching. She didn't have to cut me off. We were nothing.